Obese privilege is having the platform to say that being obese is healthy and being applauded for it. Obese privilege is being looked at and referred to as curvy and hired as a model when you can't barely walk. Obese privilege is privilege to eat so much that you make yourself disabled, to claim disability and send a big slap on the face of the actual disabled people.
Hello YouTube and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia and today we are playing a game with my fellow YouTube colleagues. The game is called Fat Acceptance Foursquares, and the purpose is for the four of us to share whatever information we have on fat acceptance with a given topic. The game is played in rounds where each speaker has 2 minutes to speak on a topic given to them by one of their colleagues. Players for this game are myself, Alan Roberts, Starzan, and Lola from Beast Train Mean. Sound good? Let's play. So I'm going to start. I'm going to name a topic. Then I'm going to name a speaker. The speaker gets a couple seconds to think about what they're going to say. They say when they're ready. I hit the timer. Everybody gets no more than 2 minutes to say whatever they want on the topic. You can speak for less than 2 minutes, but not more than 2 minutes. Okay?
Okay.
So I have to talk fast and not swear.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Oh, I beat Alan's time on not swearing on the channel, by the way.
Okay. So the topic can be a person, it can be a thing, it can be anything related to fat acceptance. So I'm going to call the first person, and I am going to call Starzan.
Okay, remind me. So
you get 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Talk about Marissa Matthews.
Oh God.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Tell us everything you can about Marissa Matthews.
Everything can about Marissa Matthews. She's, besides Trudeau, one of the biggest embarrassments to all of Canada. Believes that she is making a killing and also the most desirable woman purely by being the most affordable woman of the streets in her neighborhood, her words. Believes that she should be entitled to making money on TikTok and gets very upset when she does not get her views. And yet when you watch every video, it's like she just rolled out of bed on the side of the highway. And usually it involves taking her stomach, flopping it up and down as hard as she can, and then sitting there saying, "Don't I look sexy?" Typically to a Lizzo song. That's what I've seen. And she makes a lot of art about women's bodies and usually the stuff that comes out of them. Think I'm good. I got it all. Oh, in 1 minute. Yes.
Good job. Okay, now you get to pick a victim.
Okay, same topic.
Any topic you want. Any topic that you want, and name a person who's your victim.
Okay, things that the BOPOs and fat activists get right, and I'm going with Lola.
Huh? Tell me when you're ready, Lola.
Things that they get right. I like the fact that they. Honestly, it's hard to think about something that they get right. I'm not saying there's none, but it's like at the exact moment, it's really hard to think about what. Yes, they put the message out there to love yourself. People should love themselves regardless of what their bodies look like. But that's what the body positivity was built on. Love yourself with your flaws and your qualities, your defects. So that is definitely something that is that I agree with, and sometimes I do tag my posts with body positivity because of that, and that includes losing weight, because that is part of self-love, showing care to yourself. But then after they put such a lovely and positive message like that, it just goes down the hill again. So, but yeah, I do agree with the love yourself no matter what. And I think they should add on top of that, strive to improve yourself, because that is part of loving yourself and being positive. Being body positive, because you don't have to remain in a place of complacency. You always have to keep moving, keep improving, be a better person that you were yesterday. And that is in all areas of your life. So yes, I do agree with love yourself and love your body at all size, in any stage of its life.
Well said.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay, Lola, me or Alan?
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to pick Alan on this one. Alan, not dating obese individual is fatphobic.
Well, there is no such thing as the concept of fatphobia. Fatphobia is a completely made up term that was coined in order to stop conversation based around people trying to point out the very clear, obvious realities that being obese is bad for you. Not wanting to date somebody that's obese is, one, a personal preference, but two, is an understandable personal preference, because evolutionarily we view obesity as the overconsumption of calories and the burden upon society. It is not even an argument to possibly say that a 300-pound person does not consume more calories than a 200-pound person, a 150-pound person. And oftentimes when people are looking for a mate, they're looking for a mate that will produce healthy offspring that will also be with them for the entirety of their lives. We know that being large does take years off of your life, no matter what. And like, people do not want to invest their entirety of their lives into everybody and then have them just be alone. They want to live as long as possible. It's literally one of the reasons why I got healthy, because I wanted to live till I'm 90 at least with my wife, right? So unfortunately, while there is really no such thing as fat phobia, if the concept of not dating an obese person is upsetting because people think it's because they're obese, they are actually right. It is not a phobia, though. It is just a realistic evolutionary process that we go through. And people can try to pretend that there is that these things aren't true, but we know these things to be true. That's why we are hardwired biologically to look for stronger, healthier mates. That's one of the reasons why in our society right now, with the downfall of testosterone in men, why it seems that people are just having a harder and harder time finding mates, because frankly, people see weak men and don't want to mate with them either, because same reason, they know that they're going to be sickly, weak, and a burden to them later on.
Thanks, Alan. Great answer.
Wow,
now I'm the only victim left.
I do this for a living.
Okay.
I hate to do this stuff.
Give me your topic, Alan.
Oh, that's right, Lydia. Who is more detrimental to society, Lizzo or Tess Holiday?
Sorry.
So I
And
think
why?
I think that Tess Holiday is more damaging, but not by a lot. They're both damaging, but Tess Holiday, in my opinion, is definitely more damaging because of the whole fake Anna thing. Because at least Lizzo calls her channel Lizzo Be Eating. So she doesn't fake the fact that she's eating, right? She says Lizzo Be Eating. Tess is lying and making everybody believe, or try to believe, that she's actually starving. And it's disrespectful to people that have actually experienced starvation. I mean, you hear Lola's story, it's disgusting that she could compare herself to that. And I think that she's doing a huge disservice to all the eating disorders. So it's not only the people that have Anna that she's like mocking, but the people that have BED are now believing that they are not eating enough. Like, she's convinced a whole nother generation. And I remember when she came out with her first diagnosis, and I knew, I'm like, this is gonna spur a whole bunch of copycats. And then what do you know, they're all coming out going, I have an eating disorder too, I restrict, and that's why I'm fat, my body is in starvation mode. And all of this stuff that we debunked years and years and years and years ago are all coming back. We still hear these stupid arguments. And I think that Tess also, if you watched my other videos about her modeling camp, is a grifter. She's charging $2,000 for a hug. A $2,000 hug.
At least we know it's a soft hug.
It's a big hug. Yeah, it's for sure.
Right. So as much as I think that Lizzo is damaging, I think that Tess is more damaging.
That was super well said.
Okay, I'm going to pick the next topic, and I'm actually going to go back to Alan because I really want his answer on this one. Why there should be a maximum weight for air travel. Alan Roberts.
Oh my God, for many multitudes of reasons, it's a safety reason for everybody involved. I mean, everybody gets caught up on the cost of it, like, because that's not the case. Okay. And I do think that, you know, having larger seats in first class and everything like that are a positive thing. So there are seats available for some people that, you know, can eat. And I've said before, maybe 300 pounds, but maybe if we go to even 350, but at past 350 pounds, if we would hit turbulence and you're sitting next to somebody, you're actually a danger to that person. Like, I mean, there's without a shadow of a doubt. Not to mention the fact that evacuation times, the reason why you have to have your bag pushed all the way into your seat and the stewardess will come past and like be like, hey, push that under your seat, is to not obstruct the aisleway for in case of evacuation. If you can't fit through the aisleway easily, you are an obstruction to evacuation, and it's just very, very dangerous for everybody involved. It's dangerous for the individual too. When you are large enough where you have to straddle both those seats, I don't know if anybody realizes how hard those metal bars are, but you hit a hard bit of turbulence and you are straddled amongst two seats, that's your tailbone getting crushed. It's dangerous for the person too. Like, it's not just a matter of it's dangerous for all the other passengers, it's dangerous for the morbidly obese person. I have yet to see any compelling evidence that any airline, the FCC or anybody like that has done in any way any safety testing on seatbelts, even with seatbelt extenders. Like, I mean, seatbelt extenders to me possibly are not even safe, yet alone the fact that we don't do I've never seen any tests about evacuation drills for larger people or including larger people or anything of turbulence with larger people. So until I see that, I just can't help but assume that it's not safe for anybody. Okay, so Lola, I'll pick you. And what was the most surprising thing to you, that like the most surprising reaction you got from the fat acceptance community when you started talking about the dangers of being obese?
I think what was shocking was, the big shock to me was their shock to to hearing people saying that obesity is not healthy, because now it was as if I said, or I or anyone who said that, and based on science, that all fat people must die, or that's not what we're saying. So yeah, that was really, it's still shocking. It's still shocking. The amount of ridiculousness, is that the word? Okay. That the amount of that in that community is, and every time, every day I've been keeping hope. I tend to look at every situation on the positive. On the positive. So I've been hoping, and I still continue to hope, that one day they will wake up. It gets hard to stay on that track, but it's just amazing, mind-boggling, the idiocy that they come with every day. Like last night, somehow I went to Fat Logic on Reddit, and the very first post was someone who wrote about teen supremacy is the ability of being dispositioned to be thin, and that's from the European. People with European heritage, which kind of touch on what we talked about with Lydia. But it's like, what is even teen supremacy?
I've never heard of that one.
Teen supremacy is new. I'm writing it down because I'm going to go look for it.
I'm going to memorize that too. I like that.
I will pick star sign for this one. Before and after pictures, they are fatphobic.
Okay, I am ready. No, before and after is not fatphobic. That would be like saying progress photos for artwork or for any kind of craft is denying skill. Like, you have to know where you started in order to know where you're going. Because a lot of times, as someone who's losing weight, when I started all this, I weighed close to 450. I thought I was only 400. But if I hadn't seen images of myself from back then, where I got more of a chipmunk cheek going on, where you couldn't see much of my neck, I wouldn't realize that I've truly lost that much weight. So, saying that people don't need progress photos, no, it's not fat phobic. What it is it's insecurity talking when they say that. Because, see, then they have to admit something is wrong. If they notice the difference, then they have to admit they have done something wrong. That's why it's fat phobic, because then they have to be held accountable. And accountability is violence. I am up. I have got a great one for you. I need you to do your best impression of a bopo fat activist, what I eat in a day TikTok.
I didn't know there was impressions involved in this. I could barely act like me, yet alone make an impression of people. So.
Okay. What I eat is a fat person who doesn't care about weight loss. This morning, I woke up and I went to Starbucks and I got a venti triple pump, extra double cream, extra everything coffee milkshake. And then I went and I had a McDonald's breakfast, but I had to get 2 sandwiches. And then I had a bag of chips just for a snack. And then I had a bag of candy. And then I went for lunch and I went to my favorite pasta place and I had a heaping bowl of spaghetti, just carbs, just pure carbs. And then I went out and I had 2 chocolate bars. And then I wasn't really feeling that hungry at dinner. So I just had some like chips and guacamole, but I probably ate the whole tub of guacamole, but it was only a snack. And then I went to bed hungry.
That is outstanding.
That was just like, a light day.
Yeah.
I love it.
That was ask me that. Okay, I got one. Lola, explain to me, what is obese privilege?
Obese privilege is having the platform to say that being obese is healthy and being applauded for it. Obese privilege is being looked at and referred to as curvy and hired as a model when you can't barely walk. Obese privilege is the privilege to eat so much that you make yourself disabled, to claim disability and send a big slap on the face of the actual disabled people and being celebrated for it. Obese privilege is, the ability to claim victim for everything, being the oppressed Olympic winner. Because you are obese, you are so oppressed that, people can't say anything wrong to you because that is fatphobic, that is hating on obese people, that is racist, as if obesity is a race in itself. Obesity it's such a privilege. Sometimes I sit around and I'm like, wow, maybe I should be obese. But then I think of all the ramifications of what obesity brings. And I'm like, nope. And I'm done.
Right, though.
Nope. Not for me.
I don't know any other place where you can be like, listen, I ate too much. I gluttoned myself for a year. Now I can't walk. Uncle Sam, pay my bills.
Obesity is a natural state.
Okay. Obesity literally means to have eaten oneself fat. There are animals that can be fat that are not obese, like a blue whale. A blue whale is fat, but it's supposed to be fat. Only animals that get into like people food, usually you see obese, like rats and monkeys that in zoos, they have eaten themselves fat. So I don't see how obesity could be a natural state. I don't believe that everybody's body is meant to be a specific weight. There's a range. We all have different biology, but no one's natural state is morbidly obese. And people insisting that that is their set point weight, it doesn't make any sense, because all those people are getting bigger. It's like their set point just keeps on going higher. So if they say I'm naturally supposed to be the size and they're 300 pounds, and then a year later they're 400 pounds, we're like, well, what is your set point weight now? So
Very good point.
Yeah. Okay, I got a topic for Starzan.
Yes.
Is obesity addiction?
Okay, that one's actually a deep one. All right. So there can be an addiction to being obese in and of itself, because as you know, all of us have experienced some kind of obesity. There is a kind of safety net in it, you know, and I saw it as for a long time. One of the ways I accepted being obese was, you know what, a lot of people don't like obese people. So the people that really want to be friends with me, they're going to be friends with me. A lot of people don't find obese people attractive. So whoever finds me attractive must really find me attractive. I always, you know, thought that it was a safety measure. I'm too fat to be kidnapped. I'm too fat to be assaulted, you know, so there's an addiction in and of itself, a safety of society for being overweight. On top of that, I do believe that becoming overweight can be a sign of an addictive personality. So they always say that addiction itself is the disease, not what you're addicted to. So whether it's food, whether it's drugs, whether it is an activity, you can move addiction from one to the other. That's why a lot of folks who were originally bingers or were overweight, when they start exercising, they become overly addicted to the exercising. They become overly addicted to another portion of it. So I do believe, let me see, what's my time left? I do believe, 45 seconds, that in and of itself, it can be a sign of addiction. I do believe also it can be a sign of mental health. I believe it can be a sign of multiple things. Like, again, I say for me, for instance, originally it was just a happenstance. I didn't realize why I was getting big. And after a while, I just said, you know what? There's no reason why I am. I accept it. I embrace it. It's who I am. And so I think it can be both. I think fat itself can be addictive because it does have some benefits mentally. And I believe that the activity of becoming overweight can be a sign of addiction. You just have to learn, again, like I said before, you need to identify the root cause of why you are that way.
Awesome.
Good answer, Starzan. Love that. Okay, you have to call Alan. He's the only one left.
Okay.
What do you got for me?
All right. I have got 2 left, and I was hoping you were the one to answer one of these. So I'm going to start with this. Should plus size fashion even exist?
Absolutely. I think that's where a lot of society gets things messed up, right? Like, I think that, you know, first of all, it's just good business to have clothing that goes up in every size, because we put way too much focus on the aesthetic appeal. Now, don't get me wrong. I just talked a little earlier about how people don't necessarily find obesity attractive because we're biologically hardwired not to, but that doesn't mean that people shouldn't like wear whatever they want to wear. Like I am a big believer, like I don't get, like if you're 500 pounds, and you want to wear a bikini, I don't care. That's your business. Like, I mean, if it affects me, it shouldn't. You know, like that's my thing, because that's not like if anything, I feel bad for the person because like they're putting on display the signs of their addiction and disordered eating. But absolutely, I think it's just good business for most clothing designers to have clothing that goes up to almost every size if they can. Now, you're going to pay more for it because there is this very serious reality. Reality does exist. I say it every day. Reality exists where there's a big difference between having, a set of pants that are size medium and a pair of pants that are like a 6XL, because the material needs to be thicker because it spans farther between seams. The seaming needs to be stronger. There's more time, there's more material. So it's of course going to cost more. It's what, Lola was talking about earlier. It's obese privilege to think that you should get more for your, you should get more for the same price or less. Yeah. Like, I mean, but I've always believed that we should allow people, like, not allow, but we should make it so people can wear what they want to wear and feel comfortable in it, especially clothing wear. And just real quick, I only got 10 seconds. The biggest letdown is the shoe industry, because the shoe industry does not design shoes for obese people at all.
I am going to go to Lydia. I actually think you have a personal experience with enabling partners in relationships with fat people. So the partner being the enabler of the fat partner.
Okay. I've seen a bunch of these stories. Are you talking about like the feeder type of relationship?
Anything. So like, even if you're not a feeder, you're someone who, like, you've got a partner who's overweight and you never say no, you never deny them. Okay. So you may not be a feeder, but you're still an enabler.
Okay. That's not love for your partner. Loving someone is supporting them and helping them to live a better life. And if you know that they're hurting themselves, helping them hurt themselves does no good. It's easy for people to say it's not my problem and I just want them to be happy, but every bite of happy is hurting them. And it's literally killing them with kindness. It breaks my heart whenever I watch like the 600 Pound Life and you see the people bringing in the fast food to the people that are bedridden. Like it's heartbreaking. But they think it's love because they want to see them happy. But I think my interview with DJ, he said it really, really well. He said, sadness passes, but the actions that you take have consequences that can last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. So just because you're in a mood and the food feels good, you have to be aware that this is not making you feel better. This is temporarily making you feel better, but it's really, really hurting you in the long run. So I think that we should be less afraid of being fat phobic and be more willing to express true love and true compassion to our friends and family to get them on the right track.
Yes. That's awesome.
I agree.
I love that. That's perfect. All right.
I am going to go to Lola.
Okay.
And the topic is fat Sapphic, bro.
All right. I'm going to be honest. I haven't kept up with this individual or TikTok at all. But last I heard about them, I mean, they were insufferable, very entitled, and also, I mean, dishonest. Yes. Dishonest, and I personally believe that there is something wrong with them. Well, not something, a lot of things mentally wrong with them. I mean, we're laughing about it. I laugh about it, but I actually mean it as someone who is struggling with a lot of mental illnesses myself. I recognize a few things. I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone, but I do recognize, because I've been going to therapy, and it's a weekly thing. Actually, I do recognize things just from working on myself. Thanks to therapy, I recognize a few things on others. So fat Sapphic bro should seek therapy. They have a lot of struggle within themselves that they have not accepted, and they are using their platform to have, as Starsan said earlier, as many people as possible to agree with what they say so that it becomes true for them. And that is very dangerous because at the same time, I mean, they projecting their feelings, their hatred of everything is toward themselves, the hatred that they put out there toward, I mean, fatphobe, us, we are the fatphobe, anyone trying to help them. This is, I mean, all that hatred that they have for themselves, they actually need to sit down, reflect, seek therapy, and start actually working for them, because that will make a huge difference for them and their platform.
Great.
Alan, it's actually a right one for you. You can't tell someone else just by looking at them. What do you think?
I mean, it's just complete ridiculousness. Like, if for no other reason than gravity existing, you can tell like if a person has issues. Like I think we view health as like just a picture in time, and I think that that's a mistake. You know, like you hear all the time people are like, well, my blood works perfect. Okay, but you know, your knees might be killing you, you know. Like I, as somebody that's had extra weight, probably about 100 pounds more than what I weigh now, the difference on my knees is pronounced. Like, I mean, I move better now at 52 than I did at 42. Just because my knees were just like, wow, you weigh a lot, you know, like, and for us to be ignoring things like gravity in that equation are just kind of ridiculous. So I hate when people like talk in that fashion. You know, if I can visually see, you know, sometimes it's a little harder because a person can look thin and be completely unhealthy. That is absolutely 100% true at all given times. That's one of the reasons why I do prefer to use waist to height ratio instead of BMI, because waist to height ratio captures many more people as being obese. You can be of a perfectly healthy weight by BMI and be morbidly obese by your waist circumference. Absolutely, 100%. And the visceral fat is the actual killer, not adipose tissue, especially for women. All of our clients, we use waist to height ratio. Like if you're big, like if you're 300 plus, the scale is important. But once we get to the point where you're, you know, in the range of, you know, you could possibly be healthy, we start getting that waist measurement because that's the teller, you know, that's the tell, especially when it comes to people who are going to have extra weight from loose skin and things of that nature, you know, because that's very important. But the concept that you can't look at somebody and see that they have a waist to height ratio of like 0.7 or, you know, above and think that they're healthy, that's kind of like, it just does the person no good. It's actually damaging to the individual, because then they have this false sense of thought that they are in any way healthy, and you're just not. Like, if anything, there's a constant state of systemic inflammation throughout the body when you're obese. There's extra pressure, 4 pounds to 10 pounds per pound of square inch, or pounds of pressure per square inch on your knees when you walk on a flat surface, let alone downhill. There's so many things that are bad. To say like, well, I'm healthy because because all my tests come back healthy. Like all your tests, like is my first another thing too. Like all of them. How about the one where you stepped on the scale?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like it's just crazy. But it's just that's where the societal life started. I think that really started damaging people, is that like you can't tell if I'm healthy or not by looking at me. Tess Holiday said that when she first was on Cosmo, like, you know, you're not my doctor, you can't tell my weight. Like you had to roll on stage. You're not healthy, you know?
So before we conclude, I would like everybody to vote, not for yourself, who had the best answers today. My vote is Alan. So we have a winner. What's your vote?
I really think Lola had some insightful stuff.
I was gonna say, I think it was between Alan and Lola. I think Lola beats though.
That's awesome.
I think it's a split because my vote was on Alan.
Okay, well, maybe
Lydia, you and I gotta do better next time. We gotta come fighting.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you so much. This was so much fun. I want to do these again with like.
Absolutely. It would be a great time.
Yeah. I'd like to thank Alan, Starzan, and Lola for playing this game with me. It was so much fun to create. And as we crowned Lola and Alan the winners of the game with the best answers, what do you think? Did we get it right? I'd love to know your opinion. And maybe in the future, I can have some of you viewers on to play maybe viewers against tubers. Now, when I was recording this video, we had a lot of great sidebar discussions, but I didn't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to focus on the game. But if you are interested in all the great other conversations that we had, you're going to want to check out this video here. Now, this video is more of a forum style discussion and not a game where one person speaks at a time, but it still has a lot of great content. So if you enjoyed the conversation with the four of us here, you're not going to want to miss this one. So until next time, stay body positive, but also body honest.